understand how the people were so desperate to pick this man, you know, this unbelievable narcissist who could change the face of our world if we let him. And the only thing that will save us.
What do you get when you hand a pop legend a mic, a spotlight, and just enough fury to light up the Vegas Strip? You get Cher, not holding back, not pulling punches, and absolutely eviscerating Donald Trump like it's the opening night of her final farewell tour. Again. And yeah, not even Melania's Ice Queen grimace was spared. If you thought celebrity clapbacks had boundaries, Cher just launched hers into orbit, from Donald Trump to even his complete family. This roast is going to be crazy.
I have to tell you something. If someone said that my daughter was a hot piece of ass, I would put my fist through his face. Someone who would bring down the country because he doesn't win does not deserve anything, deserves nothing. He deserves nothing. He does not deserve any kind of respect, loyalty. I don't think he has two moral fibers.
Can you even blame her? This wasn't just some half-hearted Hollywood get out and vote post. This was a glitter-coated airstrike, a rhinestone missile straight to the MAGA ego. Cher didn't show up to heal the divide. She showed up to roast it over a disco inferno. And the best part, she did it like someone who's been around every kind of sleazy guy in a cheap suit and can spot a con from a mile away. Trump didn't just get dragged, he got vaporized by a woman in heels who could out-sing, out-shade, and out-survive him in any arena. And trust me, the next clip, somehow it gets even worse for him.
The people he will bring with him will put an end to any hope that women have of getting the rights that we had in Roe versus Wade. They will put, I believe they will put an end to any gay marriage. They will put an end to gay adoption. It's not going to hurt me. I'm 70. It's not going to do anything to me, but it's going to do stuff to young people. And that really scares me.
Let's be clear. If Trump's ego were a hot air balloon, Cher didn't just pop it. She stomped it out in glitter boots, fed it to a pack of drag queens, and left the remains somewhere between a desert cactus and a broken tanning bed. This wasn't a roast. This was an old school Vegas purge, complete with sequins, smoke, and a front row seat to the unraveling of the world's loudest man-child. And the timing? Perfect. Trump's been melting down on live TV like a microwaved creamsicle, and Cher just leaned in and said, you know what this needs? A backing track.
Actually retarded, you're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid, you have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell. You know, you're not even interesting enough to make me.
Did you feel that? That wasn't a drag. That was a full body assassination. Cher aimed for the soul, if there was one. To her, Trump isn't just a narcissist. He's a threat in a bad suit. Not a president, not a thought leader, not even your cringy uncle at the family BBQ. He's an emergency wrapped in orange spray tan, accessorized with delusion. Cher didn't just call him out. She performed a verbal exorcism on national dysfunction. And next? Oh, we're only getting started with the public humiliation.
I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
Cher, what was your reaction when you heard him say that?
Oh, come on. And he says those letters like a child that's just learning the alphabet, and then pokes his finger in the air for Q. I mean, he's the most disingenuous man I've ever.
You ever watch a toddler try to say the alphabet for the first time? Now imagine that toddler has launch codes. Trump saying LGBTQ is like watching a spelling bee contestant guess their way through a foreign language, with confidence and zero comprehension. And Cher, she clocked it instantly. Her reaction wasn't even rage, it was secondhand embarrassment. She saw the performance for what it was, a man fumbling through a cause he doesn't understand, pretending to care while clutching his cue cards like a lifeline. If you're enjoying this slow motion political collapse, hit subscribe, because Cher just went from diva to demolition crew. Picture a one-woman intervention, but instead of tissues and therapy, it's rhinestones and a mic stand. She wasn't just dragging Trump's politics, she was exposing the con beneath the comb-over. And the kicker, she did it all without breaking a sweat. And especially, a woman who survived Sonny Bono tells you someone's dangerous. That's got to be serious.
He is so dangerous, and And what he brings to my country, what he's awakened in my country is bigotry and distrust and a certain kind of supremacy in certain groups, and he lies. He tells something, and then you go back and you see what he said, and it seems like the truth both times. He's so terrific at lying. I've never seen.
Cher called it like she saw it. Trump isn't a president. He's a walking episode of Hoarder's Ego Edition. She exposed the whole game. He's not leading, he's LARPing. He's not protecting anyone. He's fueling chaos and selling it back as patriotism. And she didn't come with rage. She came with disappointment, and that's somehow worse. It was like the nation's mom sat us down and said, "I'm not mad, but I am horrified." This wasn't a celeb rant. It was an emergency broadcast, a full-blown diva siren alerting us to the biggest national security threat in an orange tie. Cher didn't just roast Donald, she steamrolled him through every faux gold chandelier at Mar-a-Lago twice. And here's the kicker: Trump may have the rallies, the fireworks, and the blimp-sized ego, but Cher has the truth, and she doesn't need a teleprompter to throw down a verbal execution. And oh boy, look at this.
I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. I tell you that.
Well, you know, I have to admit that I appreciate your directness, and I will try and be as direct and honest with you as I possibly can be. I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my entire life. You know, in the short time we've been together, you have demonstrated every loathsome characteristic of the male personality, and even discovered a...
This wasn't just shade. This was Cher flipping the entire Trump mythos into a punchline wrapped in sequins. The jobs president, please. The only job Trump ever created was convincing America that nepotism is a personality trait. Cher saw straight through the spray tan and said, "This guy, he's a glittery disaster glued together with expired ego and daddy's money." You could practically hear her thinking, if Donald Trump had been born middle class, he'd be the guy selling knockoff cologne samples at a Jersey mall, and still somehow getting fired. And then came the true crime documentary part, the Trump family business. Ivanka, according to Cher's vibe, she's like if corporate feminism had a Pinterest board. All heels and hashtags while her dad actively bulldozes women's rights like they're last season's clearance rack. Cher didn't critique Ivanka. She drop-kicked her whole empowered woman aesthetic into a gold-plated trash can. And then, oh yes, then Don Jr. showed up. According to Cher Level Energy, Don Jr. is what happens when Wall Street cocaine gets a LinkedIn profile. A man so desperate to win daddy's approval, he turned himself into a bobblehead with better Wi-Fi and fewer boundaries.
And we are back with Donald Trump, and joining us, his wife Melania, sons Donald Jr., his daughter Kai is just jumped on the stage as well. She's 8 years old. Eric is with us, daughters Tiffany and Ivanka. Welcome. It's great to have the whole family together like this. Thanks so much. Ivanka, I got to start off with you. Congratulations on your baby. How's everything going?
Thank you. Everything's going incredibly well. So Theodore is 2 weeks old as of...
Like on paper, he looks so good. You know, he was brought up rich. He had a good education. He's got all these young chicks. I don't know how young, but he's got all these young chicks. And he just keeps trading them in on younger chicks. And he's got all this money, and he's famous, and still he's such a...
Honestly, watching Don Jr. tweet is like watching a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic possessed by Jordan Peterson in gas station pre-workout. And Cher didn't even have to explain it. Her tone said it all. These aren't public figures. They're reality show extras in a reboot nobody asked for. And Melania? Oh, she didn't escape. Cher torched the poor Melania narrative like it was a Be Best branded marshmallow. She wasn't some tragic bystander. According to Cher, she was a co-star, posing, pouting, and occasionally tossing a Be Best like a birthday balloon at a fascist sleepover. Melania didn't weather Trump's presidency, she decorated it in icy glares and slow blinks that said, "I speak 5 languages, but not when it's inconvenient." But let's not get it twisted. This wasn't just a personal drag. Cher went full political execution mode. She saw Trump's whole man of the people act for what it was, a gold-plated bait and switch. A guy who promised to drain the swamp and instead built a golf course on top of it. He didn't represent the working class. He scammed it and tiled the floors in gold.
Ultimate Christmas wish. Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. I hope the Republicans disappear.
Well, you've actually said that Donald Trump gave you an ulcer the last time he was in power. Why is that?
He almost did. I'm not kidding you. He almost did. But I mean, if anyone could give you an ulcer, it's him.
Why? What is it about him that drives you nuts?
Everything. How long do you have?
I think about 4 minutes.
Okay, well, just keep thinking afterwards for about 24 hours.
You know it's bad when someone who survived 5 decades in showbiz says you gave them an ulcer. Cher didn't just want coal for Christmas. She wanted the entire Republican Party to evaporate like it was an off-brand essential oil. And honestly, that's the most relatable holiday wish we've heard in years. Trump didn't drain the swamp. He turned it into a members-only golf club and handed out Trump-branded steak knives like party favors. Cher zeroed in on his greatest scam, packaging bigotry as patriotism, wrapping it in a flag, and calling it leadership. Every speech, a tantrum in real time. Every rally, a group therapy session for angry boomers with lawn signs. She nailed how Trump romanticized a past that only looked good if you were white, male, and thought coal mining was a lifestyle brand. And let's talk about women, or rather, how Trump treats them like they're decorative props in a pageant he refuses to leave. Cher's warning wasn't just about bad policy, it was about normalizing absurdity. One day he's hugging dictators, the next he's tweeting about wind turbines giving people cancer in all caps like a malfunctioning Facebook uncle. To Cher, Trump isn't a politician, he's a broken AI bot stuck on anger, projection, and fake news memes. And the glitch is contagious. He didn't just lie, he gaslit the nation. Facts became optional, feelings ruled the day, and the only feeling that mattered, his ego.
I never judge someone by their politics. So for me, it's not a litmus test. So I would expect that back from you. So I have friends across the ideological spectrum, and I view conversations with those who disagree with me as like an opportunity to learn. I may not agree with them. I may partially agree with them, but I view that as, I feel like that makes you like a full human being when you have people in your life who disagree. And, politics for most people, it's...
And just when you think Cher might pull back, maybe, just maybe, she pulls out the gold toilet. She torched the idea that Trump is just like the people, as if the guy with the solid gold plumbing knows how to use self-checkout at Walmart. Please, if Trump ever walked into a Walmart, it was either for a photo op or because his golf cart broke down next to the parking lot. Then came the final fatal blow. She didn't just call him unattractive, no, she called him soulless. This wasn't about his looks, though let's be real, he's got the vibe of a Scooby-Doo villain sketched by a sleep-deprived intern. It was about what's underneath. And what's underneath is a dynasty built on grift, greed, and the illusion of greatness. Trump's family brand? It's not a legacy. It's a touring sideshow where every mediocre heir thinks they're the headline act. Cher exposed the whole thing. The need for applause, the addiction to attention, the way Trump doesn't seek power to lead, but to bask in the sound of clapping hands. He's not a president. He's a ratings addict trapped in a political fever dream, and we're all stuck inside his reality show nightmare. According to Cher, this isn't just a political phase. It's a full-blown ego epidemic, and America better find the cure fast.
No one will fight harder than my father for all of you. There is no more resilient man in the world than Donald Trump. Every time they tried to take him out, every time they said he was finished and we're moving on, he came back. Bigger, better, stronger than ever.
Oh, look at Don Jr., proudly reciting the family fairy tale. You almost expect him to end with, and then daddy slayed the dragon and bought it a condo. But Cher wasn't just mocking Trump, she was torching the entire ecosystem that lets this man thrive. The spineless politicians, the ratings-hungry media, and the crowd of die-hard fans who confuse shouting with strategy. She didn't laugh at his lies because they were clever. She laughed because they were so bad, so painfully obvious. Trump doesn't lie like a politician. He lies like it's a competitive sport. Breakfast lie, lunchtime contradiction, dinnertime conspiracy served with a side of all caps rage. Cher said it best. Trump's relationship with the truth is like a cat's relationship with water, hostile, avoidant, and deeply unnatural. And it wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. Every line felt like it had been dipped in sarcasm, slow roasted in vintage Hollywood shade, and hand delivered with the poise of someone who's seen every kind of fraud and isn't fooled for a second. And while Fox News tried their usual PR stunt, out of touch celebrity this, Hollywood elite that, Cher didn't flinch. If anything, their whining just fueled her more.
If your president doesn't care if you live or die, that's a pretty hard pill to swallow, because you're just sitting there going, why isn't someone helping me? You know, I've lived through like 14 presidents, and I never thought that there would be a president that wouldn't care, that doesn't even like America.
I had to come down and witness the Bolshevik show trials for myself. What's going on here is an absolute farce, and anyone in America should be embarrassed at the absolute miscarriage of justice that we're...
Cher circled back to the big truth. Trump never wanted to lead. He wanted to perform. He didn't accidentally become president. He ego tripped into it while chasing applause like it was oxygen. Everything else, the nukes, the Constitution, democracy itself, just background props for his one-man Broadway delusion. And she wasn't vague about what's at stake. A second Trump era wouldn't just be loud. It could be lethal to everything we fought for. LGBTQ rights, women's autonomy, voting access. All one tantrum away from rollback under a man who thinks history is just a waiting room for statues of himself. Cher made it personal. Not for her. She's 77 and built from sequins and fire. But for the young people, the next generation, the ones who'll be left cleaning up the rubble if the nation slips again. Her warning: don't get numb. Don't let the circus become the default channel. And whatever you do, don't let orange become a political strategy. And then, the mic drop heard round the internet. The people still have the power, even if the swamp creatures in Washington keep trying to gaslight us into thinking they own it. She said it with the energy of someone who's seen authoritarianism knock before, and this time she's barricading the door herself.
Life has been just a roller coaster, and the one thing that I have never done is I never give up. I never give up. And I'm talking to the women. I'm talking to the women, okay? You guys are on your own. You know, we've been down and out, and we keep striving, and we keep going, and we keep building, and we are somebody.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
Cher didn't just take a stand. She planted a flag, nailed it into the ground, and told every woman watching, we don't back down. We never have. And Trump, what did he do in response? He imagined her in a war zone, with guns pointed at her face, because nothing screams tough guy like fantasizing about a senior citizen being under attack just because she hurt your feelings. That fragile masculinity, it's not just showing, it's throwing a fit in gold loafers. But let's be clear, this wasn't just about him. It was about everything he represents. The fake strength, the dynastic corruption, the bronzer-fueled breakdowns posted at 3 a.m., the fear campaigns disguised as leadership, the reality TV ego trip dressed up as a political movement. Cher tore through it all like she was headlining a residency, and the truth and the spotlight never left her. She's seen every bad comeback tour, and she knows exactly how they end, with the crowd gone, the glitter faded, and the fraud exposed. And Trump, he's right on cue, rage posting his latest tantrum online, hoping it slaps hard enough to drown out the echo of Cher's takedown, still ringing through his gold-plated psyche. So if you're still wondering, did Cher destroy Trump? Let's put it this way: the man who built his brand on winning just got annihilated by a woman who never misses. And somewhere deep in the velvet-draped ego bunker that is Trump's soul, you know he felt every single word. And the chaos, oh, it's far from over. Watch the next insane Trump story right here. Trust me, you're not ready.